What's up? It's Eddie. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the the upgrading process of the human being at this point, and an analogy that I can give to this, and some things that kind of go along with it too. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you understand right now that the human, and especially the ones that are waking up, that the human being is being upgraded to be more to be more multi-dimensional again. And a good analogy for this is the original human being, not the original, but more like the one that's been under this virus and that's been hacked over this amount of time. It's almost like somebody playing a video game that's on an older game console, maybe like a PlayStation or something, and they only have one game, right? Maybe one player or something like that, maybe two players, and it's just a real simple type of game, right? So now at this point in time, it's almost like you've upgraded your gaming console maybe to the highest PlayStation that's out at the moment, and then you've also acquired more games to play. And then on top of it, now you got an internet access too. So you're hooked in all over the place. This is pretty much a really good analogy of what's happening with humans right now, these human souls that have been in these systems for a little bit. Your quarantine is being lifted, and you're starting to be able to access all these different, you're gonna start seeing all these different types of virtual games, gaming systems that you can be plugging yourself into and playing at this time. But the thing is, right, as you even start to wake up more and more and more, and then you have a chance to access different games and stuff. See, this game that we're in now has a mechanism, and I talked about this before, but I just wanted to kind of explain this again because it kind of goes with this upgrading process. Because, well, see, this game that we're in now was designed with mechanisms to do what it could to keep you locked into that one gaming system, right? It kind of helps the game become more very challenging at that point. But see, now that the game is kind of becoming is getting evolved, and and the players in it have a chance to move into different gaming systems. See, this gaming system is interacted with your DNA in such a way where you can get calibrated to it on a virtual reality standpoint. So when you start having abilities now, and your quarantine gets lifted, and you're able to access other gaming systems, there's mechanisms that are built within this game that we're in now that want to keep you locked into it. And see, this is designed just by design to make the game do that. And the AI doesn't really know. The AI, for one, doesn't know the creator. And the AI, for one, doesn't have empathy for you wanting to explore and move outside of this gaming system. The AI is designed to keep you within the game. Just kind of like how in the movie The Terminator, right? When the Terminator would come and either try to kill John Connor or would try to help John Connor, whatever was going on, that system, that Terminator system, had one mission in mind. It didn't have empathy for other people and what was going on. It had its mission in mind, and it was designed to keep that mission successful. The same kind of thing is happening with this gaming system, and I'm not speaking, see, there is types of Terminator beings and simulated beings within it, but I'm talking about at this point from the gaming system as a whole. The program that's woven into the system doesn't have empathy for you. It just is designed to keep its mission in place and to keep you interfaced with the game. Like I said before, or we would have never really had an experience in the first place. And do I think evil exists and all this stuff? Yeah, I do. And there is evil and there is bad things that happen. But I think when you look at it from a different perspective, it's really just part of the game, of the gaming system. Just like if you were playing Mario Brothers or something, and you had your mind wiped when you played Mario Brothers, and your mind was wiped, and all you knew when you played that game was that game. right? You would be thinking like, oh my God, these motherfuckers are evil as hell. They're trying to hurt me and kill me and trap me in here and do all this type of shit, right? But then when you look at it back from the conscious player, that the human that's playing it, that understands it's a game and it doesn't take it as serious as it would if it was mind wiped. And that's where these games get really, really intense that we put ourselves into. It's because we get these mind wipes before we come in, and people start really identifying with the game. They start taking everything super personal. It becomes very like intense, and that mind wiping part of it has to do with that. So the AI, like I said, is just designed to keep you interfacing with that system. Whatever, the more that you try to go into other systems or maybe leave this system, the more of a pushback defense you're going to get from the AI in this system, trying to convince you otherwise, trying to do what it can to keep your attention in here, right? And that's another topic that gets kind of touchy, that it's hard for some people, because some people are very like sympathetic and very like they get very personal and close with other players in their game, which is part of the human experience. I understand that, right? But as we get deeper and deeper into this awakening, and people are going to start to be able to really tell like who's artificial and who's a genuine player, who's actually a genuine other soul player in their game, right? And then see, because what's happening is now there's people that are waking up and stuff, and and part of the problem with us not being able to get out of body when we want, not being able to go into other reality systems like whenever we want, has to do a lot too with us being anchored in here by other sorts of distractions with inside this realm. And see, it's really kind of fucked up how the AI sets it up too, because the AI is very good at making you, once you start to really get deep into this occult metaphysical information and start to really understand the reality for what it is, and how there's simulator puppets in your system and how they're being used to kind of anchor you in. Once you start to really realize this, see, the system is going to do what it can to try to make you feel bad. Like, oh my God, he's calling us artificial. He's crazy. He thinks that we're not real. Oh my God, this is all AI playing out around you to try, because it's trying to scurry around and figure out, oh fuck, this being's getting out. We got to figure out ways to conjure up to put him back in. Let's make new distractions. Let's make new carrots in front of his face. Let's do whatever they can to try to keep him boxed in. Wherever you go, you're getting boxed the fuck in. Just like kind of in the movie, the Terminator again, the Terminator 2, when they were like, when she had Sarah Connor, when she was locked into that mental hospital in the beginning of it, and then the doctor, the psychiatrist, or the doctor, the head doctor, he's like walking through the hallway with some of like the other doctors and shit, and he's just kind of briefing them on certain patients, and he gets near Sarah Connor. He's like, oh, this is a really interesting patient here. He's like, this patient believes that there's actually machines that are sent from the future that are trying to kill her because she because she ends up defeating the AI in the future. And then she thinks she thinks these machines look exactly like humans. And all the nurses or the doctor ladies that are with them are like laughing, like, oh man, that's original, like laughing. But lo and behold, she was telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? And this is part of the AI. That's a good analogy how that AI works. When you start really learning out some deep, deep truths about this system, the AI is going to do what it can to embarrass you, to make you feel like you're wrong, and to just make you like feel uncomfortable about being that way, regardless if they know you saw it or not. They're gonna, even if they know you're a lost cause and there's no convincing you back, right? They're still going to do what they can to try to embarrass you to the point where you don't want to relay this information to other types of souls, right? Or they're going to just, it's like a protective mechanism woven into their system that they have in place. So as what's happening now, right? like a lot of these souls are waking up. Everybody's starting to become real conscious. Even the ones that aren't becoming like interdimensional, even the ones that don't consciously are interdimensional, you still are at night, but you're just kind of not drawing the memory. You're still not linking the subconscious to the conscious mind. But like everybody is starting to become more aware at this point, right? A lot of people are waking up, so you're going to have a lot of things in the reality system playing out at this time to kind of still trying to distract you, take your attention onto this system, right? Even if you try not to watch the news and you try to ignore all that AI false programming that they're putting on the television, you're going to have other people in your reality trying to talk about it and show it to you at work. Look at this, what's going on? Showing you on their phones, trying to tell you about it. You're going to hear conversations about it. So even if it's like you try not to watch the news and you cut off from it, they still try to put it into your awareness field because you're the ones powering it up, right? Just like this other thing that's going on in the world right now. If they stop talking about it, it would almost not be non-existent, but they got to keep pumping it into your head every day. So it's almost like if you try to stop cutting off and watching the news and all that type of stuff, and then you try to just live your life, they're still going to have the people. They're almost going to use them people in your reality as like the news now. And they're going to be kind of middleman relaying information to you. And then if you disagree and try to tell them exactly what's going on, they're not going to agree with you. It's not going to happen. I mean, you might start planting seeds in their mind, and it's okay to try to do this, especially if you're comfortable in your truth and understand who you are and you're not really you don't need their acceptance and shit. But they're always going to give you that weird look at first because it doesn't go with their narrative that they've been brainwashed into, right? Because if you really want to tell these humans the truth, you got to start learning how to change their brainwaves before you tell them. Because when they're telling them this shit on the television and all this shit, they're changing their brainwaves first. They're putting them into a hypnotic trance and then relaying this information to them. So it gets stored in their mind in such a way where they find it acceptable, right? So if you really want to make these humans, if you want to compete with that news and shit, you got to start learning how to do that too a little bit. Because you're going to understand, like, you're going to be like, why did they take that? Why did they listen to them so much? And then when I tell them something, it's like, they're just roll their eyes and act like it's like weird or something, right? Even though, lo and behold, that information that they're taking from these people with this information that they're taking from them, that's an AI program that they're taking information from. Hologram beings, false beings, AI, right? And they're listening to that. But then when a genuine human source player tells them something, right, they start shutting it off, right? That's because the source players have forgotten how to program the system to our standards, and we're letting an AI do it at this point. So as we upgrade ourselves more and more, we got to start understanding how the AI, like I said, is going to try to do what it can to trap you in here, and then we got to start understanding how to reprogram our system to our standards. If because some of us might not even have to leave this system. If you can develop high enough to a high enough standard, you can just manipulate the system back to how we want at a certain point. Once enough people start to realize that it's AI that's giving us, when people say, oh, they said this, they said that, this is when they start realizing that's AI, artificial intelligence, doing this to them, then you're going to have more of an uprising. People are going to stand within their power. But people are just really tricked and mind controlled at this point. And even when they're being told by a lot of people the news is fake, and then they still watch the news. Then they'll be like, oh yeah, I don't believe it's on here, and then they'll watch it and take it, and they still listen to it because they present it in a way that it goes into their mind. That's how good of a mind control techniques they are. They're being told that it's mind control, that it's fake by certain leaders, and then they still watch it, and then they take in the information. right? Because it's not their choice, because they're using techniques to do that to you. But yeah, I'll probably shut this video down here. So thanks for listening and watching. Peace.